Want to know how to stop comparing yourself to others? Watch this video to find out. Just imagine there's some kind of intro to this. Bim, 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 bim. Lifestyle with friendly Geordies. Oh wait, Jordan Shanks, I forgot which channel this was. Like the video, give me more questions. And that's the end of the video. Oh, psych, boys! Right, so yeah, you can probably see it because of the timestamp. That was such a dumb trick. Alright, yeah, okay. First of all, what you need to understand about when you're comparing yourself to others, that's just humanity. You know when you go and look at monkeys in the zoo? I'll always remember this. I was asking one of the zookeepers, going, why are they fighting so much? And they were just those little, I can't remember what they're called, marmosets or whatever, the little ones like, I got a little moustache. Those guys. And yeah, they were just darting around their little cage, and you know what she said? She said they were fighting for dominance. Now, no one else seems to like this thought except me, but that is just incredible. It's so indicative of primates, right? That even in this teeny cage in Australia, where there's, what, 6? They're still looking for who's king and who isn't. It's such teeny goals in life. First of all, that's the first point, is that you got to put all this stuff into perspective. When you're comparing yourself to somebody else and you say, oh, they're so much better off than I am. Why? Because they've got 2 garage doors instead of 1. Yeah, but in the grand scheme of the universe, I mean, even in the grand scheme of Saudi princes, where they're like, I don't even know what the garage is. I've just been walking around in this cement. Oh, that's right, I got lost in my garage, it's so big, and I haven't been able to find my way out since. It's got McDonald's in here, right? Right? That's true, isn't it? Just think about that point. Some people have garages that have McDonald's in them, okay? No, I'm not just getting that from the movie Richie Rich. When you're comparing yourself to other people, it is obviously natural. It is just what apes do. You're never going to stop doing that. What you should be doing is figuring out how to minimize it. And the reason that you want to be figuring out how to minimize it is because when you are focusing on other people, what is happening? You are not focusing on your craft. And while you aren't focusing on your craft, the reason why those people are in the peak echelons of it is because they have figured out how to stay in that zone of just focusing on what they're doing next. It's actually something called, I think it was from the book Time Warrior, where a really good way to do this is to just break your life down into smaller and smaller increments of, can I just focus for the next 3 minutes? Of course you can. Absolutely. Like the video. Just make sure that you are breaking things down into little sausage bite pieces, because when people think, oh, this person is here and I'm here, what happens? Resentment starts kicking in, doesn't it? Ooh, we've all been there. This person up here, oh my God, look at that. How am I ever going to bridge 20 centimeters? Well, what you do is you break it down into millimeters. Boop, 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 baby steps. That's how you do it. That's how they got there. They just kept breaking it down into smaller and smaller goals and achieving it. And what happens when you do that is that you start focusing on that goal because it's achievable in your mind, and then you stop focusing on the jealousy aspect of it. So obviously, that is the first point. When you are comparing yourself to someone else, you first figure out, what are you jealous about them every time? What are you jealous of? Are you jealous of... Look, I can't think of anything anymore because my entire life it's just pathetic. You know, those like, you just clout chaser, looking for the views, bro. Like, that is me. Yeah, look, when it comes to jealousy, what am I always jealous of? People that have more views than me. Obviously, every YouTuber is. But how do you break that down? You just figure out, okay, how can I personally get more views? And then you figure it out from there. You go backwards. You deconstruct, you're jealous of them, and then you figure out the steps to getting to that position. And you can do it easily, because there's definitely a recipe that they're following. You could follow the same recipe and get very similar results. And so, that's the first point. The second point, when it comes to comparison, you know what I think really helps with it? Make yourself incomparable to others. So when it comes to YouTubers, okay, who else is doing what I'm doing in the world? Nobody. Who is obsessively focusing on Australian politics? No one. And so I've become like an authoritative voice on the subject because I know more about it, because I've focused on it heaps. Now, this is going to have the inflicted inverse effect. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, the inverted effect, I guess. Is that the right word? these videos, because I start filming them just a few in a row, and then after a while I'm like, my mouth feels tired. I don't want to talk anymore. But yeah, so you want to be focusing on that, right? That you want to be making yourself such a unique product that you are uncomparable to others. So the fact that I'm kind of just constantly focusing on Australian politics, there's nobody in the YouTube game that has anywhere near the... You know, when I see other people commenting on Australian politics now, it's pathetic. They just do not have the foundation and knowledge that I have. First of all, because I did a degree in it, but then after that, I focused on it for 6 years straight. Just writing video after video of it. So my bank knowledge of Australian politics is just way deeper than everybody else's. Because I found my little niche and I focused on it. That's what you should be doing. You should, if you are comparing yourself to somebody else, yes, you should be figuring out what you're actually jealous of. So, when it comes to other YouTubers, am I jealous of their content? Absolutely not. I think that I make really good content. I'm really proud of the content that I pump out. Even my lazy videos when I'm sitting there and reacting, because I have spent so much time refining it, like writing out scripts, my brain just naturally makes better reactions than somebody who has made a career out of making reactions. Okay? So it's this thing of just like, what actually are you jealous of? What is the material thing that you're jealous of? Deconstruct your way back from there. But then, figure out what differentiates yourself. Because when you differentiate yourself from everybody else, you realize that, especially in the digital age, there is no competition. It's an infinite water of success. You can make yourself an individual. If you are comparing yourself to other people, what are you doing? You're buying into a narrative. And if you're buying into a narrative, good luck to the rest of your life, honey. If you are buying into the narrative of, I don't know, look, let's go for a really simple one. I want to be a rapper. Why? Because they've got cars, mention. If that's the way that you are seeing the world, that means that somebody else has said to you, this is awesome, and you're such an NPC cucklord that you went, oh yeah, that is mad. And then you started pursuing that. At least be aware of why you're pursuing these things. So, when it comes to views, why am I jealous about the views? I'm not jealous of them because they're getting more views. I'm jealous of the fact that I want those views so that they pay attention to Australian politics. Like when it comes to, I don't know, a living off of YouTube or whatever, I'm good. I'm fine. I could hold up this lifestyle for the rest of my life. It'd be great. I earn more than the average person. Happy to do what I do. It's a really fun lifestyle. Great. And it's like, you know, just doing what you're passionate about every day. I've never worked a day in my life. My vacation's my vocation. But when it comes to the view count, what am I actually jealous about? It is getting people to focus on Australian politics. That's why I'm jealous about it. That's why I pursue views. There's a difference in that. If you want a mansion, do you just want a mansion because of what, I don't know, some wiggity woo-woo guy, one of them rappers, whatever their names are, Eazy-E, is that what kids listen to? But, yeah, if you're listening to those, if you're just paying attention to that, and that lifestyle, and you're buying into it, first of all, I really doubt that you're ever going to achieve it because your foundations of why you want it just aren't there. But the second thing is, it's a shallow life. You have no actual purpose. You just want something because the top monkey wants it. You are that baby. You know, as soon as you pick up a toy, babies go, and then you put it down, and then the baby forgets that it even exists. That's what's happening to you. You are getting brainwashed by a narrative. This is how media works, this is how advertising works, and it's the same thing when it comes to, I don't know, like subcultures and things like that. They've kind of just determined that these things are awesome and these things aren't awesome. So, when you are comparing yourself to other people, it is just this constant thing, like the real breakdown of it is status. That's why you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Now, is seeking status a bad thing? I would argue that it's a natural thing, and if you harness that natural instinct for something bigger, so for instance, you know, the fact that I'm like, I'm authority on Australian politics. It's so lame saying it. It's like, yeah, this generation's Kerry O'Brien. But the fact that you are using that feeling of wanting to be important, wanting something that other people have, that status-seeking thing for a bigger purpose. It's all about channeling these primal urges into something that works better for you and for everybody else. That's what you should be doing, right? So figure out that at the base of all of it, the reason that you are comparing yourself to other people is because you are seeking status. Just groove on it, man. And everybody else is as well. Everybody else wants to feel special. Everybody wants to feel loved too. And that's even deeper. And we'll get into that into another video because that starts to get a bit scary. But we'll just focus on the status bit for a moment, right? It's this value-seeking thing. You know when an important person walks into a party and everyone's head goes, that's what happened when Kevin Rudd entered the room when I interviewed him the other day. Kevin Rudd enters the room. Why? Because he's former Prime Minister. Look, he's extremely charismatic. He deserves to be there. He's extremely smart. Definitely. But really, a lot of it is, oh shit, it's the guy from Rove Live. That's what happens. You turn your head as soon as he enters the room because human beings are status seekers. He's the top little bearded monkey in there. But, as you see, when he goes to America, he's fucking nobody. Here he's a king. He was the Prime Minister of Australia. Most Americans can't locate Australia on a map. And those little monkeys in that cage in Australia. Think about how down the chain they are. But when you're seeking status, your brain is constantly pinging for what is valuable to you, right? You need to cut that shit out. You need to distill how you are defining what status is, because this is the thing as well. All of these things are arbitrary. The way that you define status is not the way that other people define status. You might define status as having 3 girlfriends, or, I don't know, just having a Ferrari. Dude, if you had a Ferrari, I'd be jealous of you if you had 3 girlfriends. But if you had a Ferrari, Jesus, that is not impressive to me in the slightest. As soon as I see a Ferrari, you know what I think? Dickhead. And not in a jealous way either. I can say that with utter confidence. I am not jealous of someone driving a Ferrari. Now it sounds like I'm just like douse protesting a little bit. I'm not jealous. I'm not. But when I see them, you just always think wanker. Like, if you had 500 grand, why would you spend it on a fucking car that breaks down and every time they do, ooh, the windshield wipers broken? 50 grand. That's what I think anyway. But other people see that as a status thing. And why do they think that that's a status thing? I would guess that they have just been grown up around a group of guys going, yeah, what's that, a 50s Mustang? Ooh, yeah, listen to that baby purr. So the people that they look up to think that those things are important. So when you are looking into status, and now that I'm thinking about it, actually, you should be doing that as well. Why do you have that status trajectory? Let's wrap this up, sorry, because I'm just going too much into a spiral here. Look, comparing yourself to others, what are you doing really? You are seeking status. Is that a bad thing? Well, it's a thing, and you should be channeling it into something else. And I think that you should be channeling it into making yourself stand out from the rest of the crowd, making yourself unique, and not in this way of like, ooh, I've got heaps of nose piercings and my hair's pink. I mean, yeah, like if you want to do that shit, fine, but like, you know, cool. Like, you should be doing it, focusing it in a way that helps other people, or in some way that is of service to society. You should, that's how you should be standing out. That's what you should be channeling your ego into. And when you do that, you will stop comparing yourself to others. You will hear this over and over again. I've listened to a lot of actors recently because, time for that Ben Shapiro moment, my girlfriend's an actor. But, so I've been listening to a lot of actors because she's just constantly playing them in the car. And it's cool because they're just saying all of these points because they're successful people in their field. All of them say the same thing. When I stopped comparing myself to others and started focusing on the craft, that's when I got better. And that's why, because it is this weird little inverse thing, right? Where it's just like most people will never get to that stage where the thing that they want, they will never accumulate the mindset of being able to focus on it enough, the actual thing they want, not just the status of, but they've got it. They were never able to focus on it enough to get there. And there's something more pure about that. When you're just focusing on your craft. And there's joy in it. That is true. Like, honestly, when you get to a stage in life, I just noticed this last year. It's time for you to feel sorry for me, guys. I'm really successful, okay? Look, I'm not extremely successful, but I'm exactly where I thought I would be at this stage in my life. And, you know, flying to different cities, interviewing the Prime Minister, like, you know, just constantly moving from different place to different place in front of crowds, doing lectures at them, and then them giving me money for it. And that's a bit weird. Buy tickets though, so weird. You know, that's my life now. Just constantly moving from place to place, just living it up as I thought in my mind at the time, right? But what you realize is, when I'm doing that now, you know what I see it as? I mean, I like meeting the fans because they're always nice, interesting people, but it's not actually satisfying. You know what is satisfying? Getting there. Getting there was the satisfying part. Focusing on your craft enough, figuring it out, like riding the ups and downs, bettering yourself, getting really, really refined in that skill. Those were the things that were interesting, and they're still interesting to this day. It's getting into that mindset. And then after a while, I think what happens is you start atrophying like Eminem did when he released Recovery. But dude, when you look at it, you see a man that is obsessed with finding something new. Because, you know, look, people trash that album, but when you listen to his psychology behind it, cool. He was trying something different. Now, obviously, it sounded like complete dog shit, but he was trying to come up with a completely different way of rapping because he'd done it all in the past. Now he's trying to find something new. That's how you get out of that trap, I think, of, you know, the constant comparison and the rat race, because it is a defeating game. The whole time that you are doing that, you are not focusing on your skill. And you know what else is scary? The person that you are comparing yourself to, they are focusing on their skill, and they're just going to get further and further away from you. So, all right, let's just recap quickly. What you are seeking is status. You should be channeling that status into a skill and focus on that skill more. And as a result of focusing on that skill, you will make yourself unique. You will separate yourself from the rest of the crowd, and eventually what will happen is there'll be a bunch of people underneath you, and you'll be like, what the fuck? Dude, I'm not even that big, and there'll be people going, Finley Jollies, fuck him. That's what happens. It's the circle of life, baby. So those are the 2 points. In fact, let's just condense it to this. I just thought of this then. Damn, I'm getting good at this. After 3 years, I've done it once. Whoa. But anyway, look, the way to stop comparing yourself to others is to focus on your skill. See you next week. Like the video. Give me more. Questions?